Saturday in Washington, D.C. But before I talk about the coming game, I guess I need to close out that last game. The Delaware State homecoming game. Good win for us. When you got two, let me tell you, they're very near and dear to our heart, in fact, that we got to win. So we were all excited, and we had a good day yesterday, working on cleaning up and finishing up the Delaware game and moving on to the preparation of for the Howard game. But we had some guys that played well, played real good on defense for about 3 quarters. At that point, things kind of came loose on us a little bit. We seemed to kind of lose our focus a little bit. I don't know whether it's the crowd or the atmosphere or the excitement of the fact that we were trying to win a football game, but we didn't play nearly as well that way. But we survived it. Offensively, it was tough. It was raining in the first half, and that's always a little bit of a nightmare. We eventually got a score. Probably more due to our special teams than anything else, because we blocked a punt right there toward the end of the half. Was really fortunate to get the opportunity because they could have possibly run the clock out. They threw a pass or two and gave us a chance to get after that punt. And one of our guys, Jermaine Baxley, from over in Burke County, Georgia, was able to block the kick. And it wasn't one of those kind of deals where it was a busting assignment, that kind of stuff. Their guy was blocking our guy. You know, it was 2 men going against each other. And Baxter was able to just barely get a hand over, you know, toward the punter's foot, and was able to get his hand on the ball and got it blocked. And, you know, it was a big play for us, because from there we got a little draw play from Tyrese. Tyrese is really coming on as a runner. He's our leading rusher, and he got one of his big runs there, got us down close to the goal line, and then we get another little play and get it in the end zone. And we go up 7-0, and that was, a big weight off of our shoulders going into the first half, not being, you know, shut out in the first half. It's always big. So, you know, we got that score, and then from there, we come out the second half and get another block punt. One of our other young men, linebacker, Cornelius Walker, and it was a similar kind of deal. Got his hand and then blocked another one. Both times, you know, those guys were, making an unbelievable play, getting the opportunity to get close enough, and then actually being aware enough to get their hand in just the right spot to block the ball. So he got that done, and then we got another score. So going up 13-0, got a PAT block, you know, that's a little bit of a down, but we up 13-0. And then from there, we kind of go back and forth with them a little bit, because Delaware has shown pretty good success offensively. And the fact that we haven't shut out for as long as we did was good. They finally did get going, got a couple big plays, and got the ball in the end zone. And then from there, we got to move a little bit better on offense. Eventually got enough to win the football game. I think like 30-19, somewhere in that neck was, yeah. That was the score. Now, questions?
Well, Coach, just in terms of using that game as something to build off of, just the way you guys handle the response from Delaware State. You get the lead, but it seems like they're trying to get some new life back, but in every phase, you guys were able to answer that challenge. So what does that message send to your team that, hey, we know how to respond a little bit better now, and let's just keep building off of that?
And I think it does exactly that. We've gotten, tested pretty much in every game, and the good teams, we play good enough to continue to, be in the game, and, some of the teams that maybe are not so good, we had some tough times with too. In the same way, we won that game, but at the same time, it's pretty obvious that we've got to have all of our things going together. We're not quite dominant enough on any side of the ball to actually just make us a good football team right now. We just good enough to kind of survive on defense, and just good enough to kind of survive on offense. And if we've got a strong area, it's probably in our special teams game. And you see a couple of little kinks in that deal too. We struggle some with our protection on PATs and field goals. Although our young freshman kicker, we got a freshman long snapper, Josh Pringle from over at Summerton, South Carolina, Scotts Branch High School, and a freshman kicker from down in Florida, Dylan Bredesen. Is that right, Camp? Did I say it right? Bredesen, yeah. Bredesen,
Yeah.
one of them from down in Pensacola, Florida area, and then Petaway holds for us. But those guys have done a nice job. But we got to have all those things working kind of in unison in order for us to have any success, because we're not quite good enough to have anything come up short.
Surprised with the play from Farika Greer. I mean, he hasn't really contributed that
Yeah.
much, but then comes in and he's a little spark plug for you guys.
Farika has had his moments. We've gotten, I guess, to the point where I think we're really deep in our running back core. We've got, I think right now we're starting Datron James, and Datron is from down at Fort Dorchester, and he's a good player. Datron's a tough guy, and he had some good runs. So I think he had 88 yards in that game Saturday. And then we've got Omar Cummins. Omar is from Beaufort, South Carolina. He's a reigning, well, his brother's the reigning national some kind of strength guy, and he's a little weightlifting bugaboo himself. And we've got, well, we decided we're gonna redshirt LeBron Morris, who's our leading rusher last year, but he hadn't redshirted, so they all about the same. So we figured, what the heck? Let's see if we can go ahead and get him another year. Then we've got Farika. Farika's a good, and then we got Jarris Jenkins. So all those guys played a good bit. Those four guys, I don't know if I can really tell you, what one is better than the other in ability-wise. And so, I can tell you that we've got about as good a running backs as we've had, except for the fact that I don't think we got a great one. We just got a bunch of good college running backs.
Coach, once the rain finally stopped, did you feel like you got a complete game then from all three phases of the game? It sounded like it, looked like it.
Well, we got about 3/4 of a game from all three phases. We had some moments, I guess, everywhere where we felt that we were really doing well. And then, of course, there were some moments our defense really played poorly, I thought, in the fourth quarter, after playing about as good as they could play for for the rest of the game. So, yeah, we played good most of the game in all three phases, but we still got some work. We still got plenty of work to do. Anytime you see this team, you can always say, what, that team looks like they might be all right, but they just kind of finish. Don't quite do that.
Coach, you had that comeback at Morgan State, and then, of course, this last win, 22 points in the second half. Are you concerned about the slow starts, while there isn't a lot of production in the first half?
I am, and we've tried to remedy that, being concerned and actually doing something about them. It's not necessarily the same. We've tried to, add a little spice. The rain, I thought, might have had a little bit of an effect on the starting slow. The one thing we didn't want to do in that part of the game Saturday was to make some kind of issue that would possibly give us a turnover close to our own goal line and get behind that way. So we kind of played it close to the vest as we got through that. I thought the rain would break and we'd eventually get a good, clean kind of day to play in. So, we just kind of took that as it would be that way, as opposed to trying to make something happen and then maybe forcing an issue that might end up coming back to bite us in the fanny.
As well as Nick has been running the ball and has kind of opened the door that way for you guys offensively, is there any concern going into this weekend where you think maybe Howard, and I know the other teams will probably try to do it, but does he have to be more efficient at least from a completion rate standpoint, even if he's not hitting every deep ball, just to keep the defenses somewhat honest? Mm-hmm. For the fear that they might try to put the ball in his arm as opposed to his legs.
Yeah, Joe, you hit the nail right on the head in the fact that we know that we need to be more balanced. We need to be able to effectively make people defend the throw better. And, that will make our run game probably even better, but at the same time, option teams are notorious for being that way. We're not quite an option team. We are a read zone kind of, college football style kind of offense of the day. But at the same time, if we don't eventually figure out how to become more effective in the throw game, we're going to become more balanced. And I think people will come up with ways to put more people in the box. And at that point, then we will be possibly, behind the eight ball. I tell you what, though, the one thing about option teams is because you continue to commit more people to it, you give up the home run play. Sometimes, easier. And although we may not hit a deep ball, you know, we'll scare you. You know, the ball's in the air, you know, everybody say, ooh, if he catch that, we're in trouble. So in those kind of regards, you know, we still can sling it down there. We might not know where it's going and who's going to catch it. But we'll sling it down there and scare the fool out there. Hopefully that'll make them back up.
I mean, is it something where then you kind of analyze, well, if Nick isn't as efficient, then we're just going to run the ball a whole lot more? Just seeing that he went 8 for 23,
Well,
it just seems like, you know, a lot of misses, which can put you really in a bad hole position-wise offensively.
Yeah, well, we need to figure that out. We've tried to maybe throw some easier pass style kind of plays that would be better to his eye. You know, things that, you know, he could complete easier. We've actually talked about maybe, you know, doing some throws in some different situations that might give him a little bit better opportunities that way. But, you know, it's a catch-22. You know, when you're trying to do all of what we're trying to do in the run game, you practicing the run more than anything else. You know, the pass obviously is somewhat of a second thought to us, and we're not very good at it. We need to get better at it. We'll figure it out.
But at least the offense is trending in the right direction. I mean, you look from a month ago, you know, we're talking middle of September after 3 games, you guys are just trying to find the end zone.
Right.
And now it seems like you guys are building off a foundation that at least you like to finish the season strong.
I guarantee you the one thing you can say is that we are getting better. You can see that the offense is at a point now where, you know, we've got some explosiveness. We're starting to make some big plays. We had 12 big plays in the game Saturday, which is a run of 10 yards or more, a pass of 15 yards or more. So we chart that kind of stuff, and we like to think that, you know, those kinds of things, you know, are the kinds of numbers that will be, you know, are somewhat attractive to, you know, being a better offensive football team. So I think we got a shot to be okay.
How about just slowing down their offense some? You got a quarterback in Newton who's better than last year, it looks like. You got a receiver who's got 8 touchdowns.
Yeah.
They're scoring 35 a game. I mean, how do y'all, you got 10 interceptions on the year, so that's good that y'all might pick off a few.
Let's hope we can. We need to do some things to pressure him, first of all. He'll throw it to you, you know, a little bit every now and then. The problem is that he throws it to their guys a little bit too often. And, you know, they seem to go a long ways after they get it. They got a wide receiver, that number 12 guy. You know, he real fast.
Right to catch.
Yeah, he real. Well, they sometimes he run down that long ways and then catch it too. So he's one of them kind of guys that you really got to be, you know, kind of aware of. They've got 3 wideouts though that are real good players, and then they got some explosive in the backfield. They done found a running back, that number 31 kid that I saw go the distance a couple times Saturday night. Got a chance to sit around my house and watch. It's kind of special that the fact that I watched Bethune and A&T for a little while. I watched Morgan and Howard for a while. You can just sit there and watch all that stuff on your phone. Mm-hmm. So you get a little bit better feel for what teams look like from the TV copies than you do sometimes from the actual coaches copy of the film. So I got a chance to watch a little bit another night, and you know, you could see the explosiveness and how good Newton looks as he's running around. He's a football player now. He's a tough son of a gun too. So we got our work cut out for these guys. It's their homecoming. You know, we've had some success of homecoming. That, as a matter of fact, that might be all the success we've had. We might need to try to see if we can get everybody. Yes, have been a homecoming. That's the only time we can win. So at this point,
true.
We need to try to see. Yeah, we hoping that the numbers hold true.
What's it about homecoming?
I don't know exactly what it is. We need a bigger crowd. We don't play very good behind closed doors. We need a lot of people for us to be good. So kind of how it works.
When you look at Howard, just look at the rest of the MEAC too, it seems like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when you guys were competing in this league, it didn't seem like you had these type of challenges every week. And it seems every week, every team is as equally as good as the other in this conference, and there's really no separation between anybody.
Well, what's happened is these schools have seen the benefit of having good football. And some of them have actually even seen the benefit of having good bands too. So, you know, these schools, you know, use that as a marketing tool that can make their universities, you know, a little bit better somehow or another. Howard, you know, they hired, you know, their guy, you know, you got Willie Simmons at Florida, A&M, the guy that Delaware just hired, it was a hot item. All those guys, you know, right now, are pretty well-known commodities, and they've got good experiences. They've got D1 experiences, all that kind of stuff. So everybody's got an idea now about how they can make their situations attractive enough that, you know, they can make their schools compete. And you get a chance to play in the Celebration Bowl. That $1 million prize out there was almost like, you know, the big pot of gold on the end of the rainbow. So everybody's fighting to try to get there. So, you know, you got a chance now to see, you know, schools actually try to compete. Everybody this league has. And we've been not quite as capable in the last few odd years, so that's kind of hurt us a little bit. But at the same time, you know, it's been fun to see our league improve the way it has.
So basically, South Carolina State's example and
A little
template,
bit.
they said, get a good
A
team,
little
get a good
bit.
band, and let's go.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. You know, FAMU had the band, now they got the football team. I think they might be leading the league,
They
you know, right now. A&T is, you know, kind of caught behind a rock and a hard place a little bit on that deal. I think FAM's got to lose twice. Of course, so that FAM still got to go to Howard too, so, and they play Bethune at home. That Bethune game is a big. So our league's still pretty wide open. You can bet that though. You know, FAM's thinking they got it. You know, if they can kind of continue to play well, they're all excited about it.